was filed in court. The matter has since been filed in court, and there are several hundred pages of justification. Have you familiarized yourself with those responses?
Can you repeat?
This was your view.
Yes.
The view you state in paragraph 24
yes.
was your view before the exercise.
Remember,
you said you have three perspectives:
yes.
before, during, and after. Yeah. Isn't it? After you made this complaint, there have been responses. Have you had an opportunity to interact with any of those responses to your affidavit? Have you inquired?
Yes.
As to whether there is any justification?
Yes, yes.
Have you, what did you do?
What I did, I think right now, the data bill should be, is it before the Parliament or Senate?
Let me stop you there.
Yeah.
I really want to constrain you to the four walls of my question. And my question is, what did you do to interact with any of the responses and any of the justifications that have been given in response to this complaint you made?
Concerning the data?
Yes. Concerning the specific reasons given for the collection of private data that is being collected. That is a complaint you made. Remember, you have three perspectives.
Yes.
This is in phase 1. In phase 2 and phase last, what have you done to satisfy this curiosity?
This is what I was explaining. What I did is I think the data bill is before the Parliament.
You. What did you do?
This is what I'm coming for. I am waiting for the Parliament after I think the first reading, so they take their chance to bring it out to the people for a public participation. Then I put my input.
You then make a complaint in paragraph 25 that there is no provision as to how one can amend data once this is collected, which would lead to people being locked out from accessing government services because of wrong data. Again, this is your perspective before the process.
Yes.
Have you inquired as to what has been done? Have you interrogated any of the responses that respond to this complaint that you have?
Yes.
Which responses have you interrogated?
This is what I'm telling and I'm repeating. I'm waiting for the bill to come out for public participation so that I can put my input.
What you did is you are waiting for the bill to come out.
For the public participation. No.
Now, I want you to go to paragraph 29 of your affidavit on Shafi. And in paragraph 29, you deal with the very technical area of public procurement or of procurement.
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the provisions of the public procurement and disposal act?
Not very much.
Have you ever interacted with that act?
Of course, a bit.
Do you know that it exists?
Yes.
All right. Now, I want us just to go through paragraph 29, and I want you first to read paragraph 29 in its entirety to the court.
That there is no public record and that the petitioner has seen from when the tender for NIIMs was plotted.
Okay.
Which company supplied, the selection process and the decision. There is no public record that the petitioner has seen that any due diligence was carried out to ensure that information collected by IDEMIA was guaranteed and the privacy of the information provided by NIIMs.
Now, you made 4 wild allegations.
Yeah.
And I want us just to take a little time and go through each one of them. I want you perhaps to confirm first, before we get into the first issue, whether the issue of procurement is an issue in the petition brought by the Human Rights Forum that you are the chairman and the CEO. I did ask a hypothetical question here. I asked a very direct question. Is it an issue?
Of course, it's not there.
It is not an issue. Okay. But even if it's not an issue in the petition, you have raised the complaint here.
Yes.
And the court is obliged to have a look at your complaint, whether it is related to the petition or not. Now, the first issue you take up in paragraph 29 is that there is no public record that the procurement, that the petitioner has seen on when the tender for NIIMs was floated. This is my question for you.
Yes.
You are swearing this affidavit on the Nubian Rights Forum, on behalf of the Nubian Rights Forum. Yes. Where did the Nubian Rights Forum look for this information?
Of course, the Nubian Rights Forum has a right, like any other Kenyan.
Just answer the question.
Yes, I'm answering.
Please don't preach. Please don't use that as a podium or something else. I ask you the question: where did the Nubian Rights Forum? It says it has not seen. That means that you have looked and not found. Where did you look?
We look at the, what do you call it? At the government domain.
At the government domain?
Yes.
All right. And is the fact that you looked at the government domain captured in paragraph 29 of your affidavit?
No.
You have stated the second complaint is you were unable to find which companies applied. Again, I ask the question.
Yes.
Have you stated in your affidavit where you looked for the companies that applied?
No.
Again, the third complaint you made is that the selection process and the selection process and the decision. Then you go on to the fourth complaint and you state that there is no public record that the petitioner has seen that any due diligence was carried out to ensure that the information collected by identity. Now, you make a very wild accusation here. Mm-hmm. And I understand you to mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, that the information collected, and I take it that, I hope I'm correct to take it that you're referring to names or Huduma number, was collected by identity. Yeah. Was guaranteed and the privacy of the information provided by Kenyans assured. Does it remain your testimony this morning, Bwana Shafi, that the information for Huduma number or names registration was collected by identity?
Yeah.
It remains your testimony. Yeah. Okay. You have introduced the word idemia in your affidavit for the first time. I would like you to explain to the court who is this referred to as idemia?
Okay. My explanation is the so-called idemia was the company which IBC used to vote the system which they used in the election, and the same company now, after having so many issues, have changed their name into idemia.
That is the idemia you refer to. And in your estimation, it is the idemia that collected the information. Okay. Now, I want to come across with my document because I only have one copy and I don't want to trouble your advocate to give you a copy. Allow me to come across with my copy, and I want to show you a document that speaks to the testimony that you have given in respect of identity. Members of the court, I want to show this witness the affidavit of Mirom Uchien. It bears the court stamp of the 27th of February 2019, and it is sworn by Mr. Uchien. On the 26th of February 2019. And so we are likely to read to court paragraph 26 of that affidavit.
That contrary to the allegation of the petitioner, no private entity, including idemia Saffron, was involved in the development of the software aspects of NIIMs. I can further confirm that the NIIMs devices were inspected for any data mining software to complete and eliminate the possibility of external access. Data mining or even data manipulation by academia, saffron, or any other authorized entity.
You understand what Mr. Chen is saying? That was and you had an opportunity to respond to this. Yes. Is there any response from you in respect of that paragraph of Mr. Chen? Subsequently, the court was gracious and it gave the petitioners an opportunity to respond. Did you respond to that part of Mr. Chen's argument? You don't remember? I want to show you another provision or another paragraph in Mr. Chen's affidavit. Paragraph 32. Paragraph 32 of your affidavit, of your first affidavit. You state that, let's see what you state in paragraph 32.
That in passing the amendment, in preparation for rolling out the new registration system, the respondents failed to compare it with most development and well-known systems, such as Aadhaar in India.
What do you know about the Aadhaar system in India?
I know about the Aadhaar system in India through my board members.
You as from Shaki have no knowledge other than through your board members of the Aadhaar system in India.
The knowledge I have is I've been watching whatever they are doing.
You have never interacted with it, you have never studied it, yes. Only through your board members and not seen it. Yes. And it was then your expectation that that was a best practice. Now, again, I want to show you the affidavit of Jerome Otieno. Because this paragraph 5 of but I want you just to read what the provision.
That although the concept of single integrated population system is still relatively new and is being adopted by numerous states worldwide. In dealing with some of the challenges associated with developing new systems, the government organized several benchmark trips and studies to some of the states with the best system, including Netherlands, Estonia, Malaysia, and the Philippines, among others.
Jerome Otieno, unlike you, is an expert in information technology. He says that, yes, you understand what Mr. Chen is saying about you do. Now, again, that is an affidavit that is sworn and filed in this court by Mr. Chen in response to some of the other wild allegations that you made. You had an opportunity to respond to that affirmation by Mr. Chen. Have you responded? I then want us to move briefly to your second affidavit. It's not numbered, but I think it is the third affidavit in the one you have. You have it before you.
The second affidavit.
Yes, the second one, the one that is filed in court, it has a court stamp on the front. But this is the smaller document. You have the copy of your second affidavit with you?
Yes.
I want us just to go to straight to paragraph 4. And ask you to read paragraph 4 of the affidavit.
That in response to paragraph 74 of the said replying affidavit, I confirm that I did, in fact, write to the Director National Registration Bureau on urgency of the second respondent of the 8th of April 2017.
So here I understand you to be mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, that you wrote on the 8th of April 2017.
Yeah.
Where is this letter? Do you produce this letter?
Yes.
Where is the letter? In your affidavit, where is the letter?
I think the letter is where respected counsel from the government side have put it in the replying affidavit.
All right. We get to that later in a moment. And you then set out certain things that you state that you state in the letter. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Now I want to give you the letter and the affidavit together.
Yeah.
What was your previous question?
When I talk about the letter
Yes.
that he's referring to,
Yeah.
he says it is not produced in his affidavit.
Then you asked him.
He has then referred to where it is produced, and I want to show you the letter.
Okay. Where's the letter, Mr. Yamoni?
The letter is in the replying affidavit filed in petition number 56, and it is filed in only petition number 56. It is not filed in the consolidated. May I proceed?
Yes.
Wanashafi, I would like you to tell the court the document that you're looking at.
I'm looking at the letter.
It is a letter from who? From who?
From I
In your capacity as what official of the Nubian Rights Forum?
and the chairperson
And what
to the National Registration Bureau, to the Director of the National Registration Bureau.
and you confirm that the issue that you're writing about is what?
The issue what I was writing about is, in one language, is can I say a cooperation?
No, just read the subject of the letter.
Reappreciation letter.
What does it say?
Reappreciation letter.
Appreciation letter.
Yes.
And it is addressed to the Director of the National Registration Bureau.
Yes.
It is on the last page. It's the very last document in that affidavit. It is page last. It is a one-page document, and it is the very last page, just on top of the back cover.
Should be page 280.
280. Is yours missing a copy, Myron?
That,
The last page is 250.
It seems, my lord, in your copy, the page is missing. We shall supply you. My apologies.
Proceed.
Thank you very much. What is the subject again?
The appreciation letter.
Appreciation letter.
Yeah.
Now, I would like you to read the contents of that letter.
We are writing to thank you for your immense cooperation during your mobile ID registration campaign. It is rare these days to find such high standard of sincerity and trustworthiness in handling civil society projects. We are honestly very happy to have been associated with you in this campaign in implementing the third chapter of the Constitution. Our special thanks go to NRP Assistant Director, Mr. Laurent Namole, the Regional Assistant Director, Mr. Timothy Konde, Registrar Kibra, Ms. Anne, and it will be our pleasure to partner with you in the future. And we sincerely hope that you will continue with your exceptional service in the coming years as we have done.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Now, that letter is a letter by you to the National Registration Bureau.
Absolutely.
All right. And that letter says a few important things. In very many words, it says asante.
Yes.
And it says asante for a project, isn't it?
Yes.
And the project we refer to as a civil society project.
Yes.
Now, the civil society in this instance is the Nubian Rights Forum.
Yes.
And whereas the project is not stated, it is possible to deduce the project from your accolades.
In your honor, I think the project has been stated there. Mobile ID.
Mobile ID.
Yes.
And you say thank you for a job well done.
Yes.
And a job well done means IDs issued either to your expectation or exceeding your expectation.
Of course, it can be both.
That is when you say thank you.
Yes.
If it is a poor job, you wouldn't waste your time writing a letter like this.
Of course, yes, perhaps.
Yes. I put it to you that this letter sets out the real feeling, the real sentiment of not just you, but the Nubian Rights Forum in respect of the issue of issuance of identity cards.
No.
Nothing else will speak.
okay. Mr. Shah, did you want to sit down because your lawyer still needs to clarify some issues?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Shafi,
Yes.
we'll actually start with that last part, the letter.
Yes.
Council asked you about the letter. Why did you write that letter?
I wrote that letter like any other Kenyan who can appreciate any good deed from anyone or any institution of the government. And number two, I appreciate it mostly because there is most of the time when we call government without a letter, they will not come for whatever I call them. And I usually call the partner with them in which I want to tell this court that is not my role or civil society's role. It is the law like that an ordinary citizen down there get an efficient service?
You said you wrote that letter on mobile ID.
Yes.
Can you explain what mobile ID is?
Mobile ID is a process where you request the registrar to come out with them in the grassroots. And before requesting them, you request them and also you mobile the citizens of that area. Of course, that was in Kibera. You make sure you mobilize all the citizens of Kibera who have not yet hold ID but have reached the age of getting an ID. Taking the government officers or the NRB officers from their station to the village is the whole process of mobile ID.
So you said in response to the lawyer that you wrote that letter on behalf of NRF.
Yes.
Why NRF?
NRF because it is NRF who we are facilitating, and it is NRF who are partnering as an institution, partnering with our respected government institution to hold that exercise down there. And of course, NRF facilitation means we bring all those things which make this thing successful. We give the government officers who participated with us their allowances and some other things.
Just to take you again to the very beginning, and now that you began NRF and your role in NRF, what does NRF do normally?
NRF, number one, NRF runs legal empowerment programs in their own community and trains paralegals specialized in identification bureaucracy across the country. That is one.
What do you mean by legal empowerment?
Legal empowerment, this means as citizens down there to understand their citizenship right, to understand what is ID card, what is the requirement, what is the age of getting the ID, to understand the reason why they must have a birth certificate, to understand the reason why they must have a passport and death certificate.
So you do that. Just to take you to the next issue that I also asked about, which is identification for vetting committees. And you said there's an issue with securitization of that.
Yes.
What has been your experience with identification and security committees?
My experience, number one, after the process begins with the elders. In the beginning, elders were to give these young boys and girls forms to fill and then to go with it to court. So that
members of the court, that testimony doesn't appear. And he stated that he has never requested to idea. How he will have you
Mr. Bashir, maybe you can rephrase your question so that it flows from the cross-examination, because it did arise in your cross-examination. Mr. Nyamoti, you asked the witness about the identification committee.
I asked him about, sorry, I asked him about the identification committee. He says, for the purposes of national ID, he has no experience. He had never interacted. For the purposes of national ID, that is what is being able to discuss.
The purpose of the examination is for Mr. Bashir to clarify that. So let him clarify.
Most of likely, I don't know whether council wants to actually give issues on record and submit from the bar, but I will do this. Council asked you about your experiences in vetting.
yes,
You said you are not vetted for ID.
yes.
But I remember you saying that you were vetted for passport.
Yes.
How was that experience?
That experience, I did not see any problem with it, but I only have one problem with it. My problem is, why are you vetting only a specific people of this great nation, and you don't vet the whole country? This is my problem with it.
You were asked about identification and vetting of Nubian.
Yes.
In fact, you are asked to read paragraph 14 of your affidavit.
Yeah.
For the record, can you read it again?
Under the Registration of Persons Act, a provision authorized for the first time the establishment.
I mean, paragraph 14 of his affidavit.
The first affidavit.
Yes, ma'am. On page 55.
Under the Registration of Persons Act, a provision authorized for the first time the establishment of identification committee by the registrar for the purposes of identification information, while in practice, these vetting procedures already exist. Their composition and nature are increasingly security-based, reflecting a widely observed trend towards systematic state surveillance of the population.
Council asked you about representatives of the Nubian community being a part of this committee.
Yes.
You have begun to explain that one representative of the Nubian committee is part of it.
Yes.
Can you explain who are the members of this committee?
Your Honor, you mean the member of the whole vetting committee or the Nubian elders? Yes.
The whole team.
The whole team, yes. The representatives are the registrar, the Madam Anne, the registrar of the ID cards. There's somebody from the birth certificate office, the registrar. There's a DC, DO sitting there. There is one Nubian who is vetting Nubians every Thursday and Friday. There is a police officer, a senior police officer coming from Kilimani police station. There's an intelligence officer. There is a CID officer.
So in terms of representation, how many Nubians are part of that process?
It's only one Nubian.
And approximately how many are others?
About 10.
And they are, you said you had mentioned that there are officers from
CID, police, national intelligence, somebody from civil register for birth certificate, somebody from the office of ID cards.
Mr. Shafi, council asked you about your grievances that you have.
Yes.
And you have a grievance, you said, with discrimination and vetting.
Exactly.
Why do you have that?
I have that grievance simply because my respected government, number one, on vetting, cannot vet a specific community and leave the rest of the Kenyans. That is one. Number two, it is a constitutional right where government should do everything equitable. And we have Article 27, which states very clearly of the Constitution of Kenya that everyone has equal right before the law.
Just to take you now to the issue in this case, which is the Huduma number or NIIM. you said that your issue is with, and you told council as well, that your issue is with the current identification system.
Yes.
Why do you have a problem with NIIMs or with the number?
My problem with NIIMs is as a Kenyan, and most of my community will be left out, and only not Nubian community, but the entire minorities in the Republic of Kenya will be left out, and that NIIMs is of very important to each and every Kenyan. So we want to migrate together with our respective government. So I am saying the issues of discrimination to be addressed, and then we migrate together to NIIMs. Because I will not be locked out not to get government services, and yet the government has not addressed the discrimination aspect so that we can work together in NIIMs.
Council asked you about your awareness of 3 steps. He said, and then put it very clearly and very nicely. He said, you knew of this process, the Huduma number process, before it started.
Yes.
You knew of it as it continues.
Yes.
And now you are here after, presumably. I think that's how you sort of explained it. What was your experience and your concerns before the process kicked out?
My experience and concern before the process kicks out, any good project from the government to its people should begin with an adequate public participation. It should create awareness to its citizens to understand what is this project we are coming with. Going down there, all those people who have registered in NIIMs, 3/4 don't understand what it means. After doing all that, to my experience, the law will come first to guide the project and to manage the project. But what I've seen here, His Excellency, my President, rolled out the project before the law comes. I'm referring to number 1, Huduma bill. Number 2, data is also a bill. And everyone in this court understands what a bill is. All those things are bills. There's no one which has been done in fact.
Just to take you systematically, you said, how did you see the process roll out? The Huduma number. The rollout, the collection, that one.
I have seen the way the process rolled out, and so many, in fact, in my side, those people from the Nubian community, some as old as Khalil, who was here, they went to the station and have been told you cannot be registered without an ID card. And there is some who has been left out. I even have a document here where my Nubian Rights Forum are taking data of those people who are getting problems with getting IDs. I have this one here is for 19, but I have another latest one for 24. So my fear is those people will be locked out and they're Kenyans. And they have a right to any service.
Now that the data collection process has been concluded, what do you know about the current situation?
Number 1, the data the situation right now lies to the government. Some of us are in fears because we don't have problem. If government put everything right, accommodate all of us to migrate together, I shall feel I will be in Huduma number. What about those one who does not have those ID cards? Those one who don't have birth certificate? When will they be in Huduma? That is my problem.
Just to take you back to the issue of vetting, you said you were vetted for passport.
Yes.
Can you quickly explain that?
I have been vetted for passport, and the process, I don't know to other guys, but to me, my issue was only one, asking the reason why specific community and not all. But Everything which comes, what they ask me first, what is your name? I told them. Your father's name, I told them. Your mother's name, I told them. The second thing, they ask me, okay, we're seeing here in your file, you're an activist. Give us your activism perspective. And I give them. So the third question they ask me is terrorism real? I don't think it's real. But that's a security question. And that's all. They told me after 10 days, come for your passport.
What has been the experience of the Nubians with regard to that?
The experience of the Nubians regarding to dating, Nubians are feeling they are being left out, they are being discriminated. Most of the Nubian boys lack education because of lacking the ID cards. I personally went to Kimodo's office where I've been given Mr. Nangole to assist 3 Nubian children who have a bursary, 1 to go to United States and 2 to Khartoum University. But it's only 1 for the United States who went. The 2 for Khartoum did not go because of lack of ID card. So it is a threat to my community.
And finally, you said you came on behalf of the Nubian community. With regard to me, what would be your recommendation?
My recommendation, hiyo mradi ya NIIMs kama itaendelea, wacha serikali iangazie masala ya kutenga jamii nyingine, ili sheria iwe applicable kwa kila Mkenya, kwa sababu Mnubi ni Mkenya na anybody else should be discriminated is a Kenyan. So we are saying hii kitu isiwe lazima hadi wakati all these aspects of discrimination will be answered. Na kuongezea hiyo, Aishafi nilikuwa na Honorable Matiang'i last 2 months. You can all attest that from Honorable Atiende Omolo, who hold my hand. Honorable Matiang'i agreed. The grievance of Nubians is genuine, and we are going to address it up to the end of August. Up to today, we're still waiting for Matiang'i to address it, and hopefully we will.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shah. That's all for me.
Okay. All right, Mr. Shafi, thank you for coming to court. With evidence, you are released now. You can release the witness box and the rest of the time. Now, I want us to finish with the cross-examination before we break for lunch. So we'll take the last witness.
For the record, you state your name. Fatuma, pretty easy. This is we are all friends here. Fatuma, what do you do for a living?
I was going to
You're an official working with?
Juma, you are allowed to talk loudly. Nobody will follow with you. or talking with a bit of volume, so increase your volume.
With regard to this case, did you share an affidavit? Affidavit dated the 12th of April 2019?
Yes, I do.
And you adopt this as your statement for purposes of this case?
Yes, I do.
That is all. The lawyer for the government will ask the question. Kindly respond to them politely and do not be scared.
Good afternoon and welcome to court. Is this your first time in court?
Yes,
Please relax. We are all here for the same reason. Don't be intimidated by what we wear or where certain people are seated. Just be relaxed and answer my questions. Listen to my questions and answer when I ask. The witness who was in the place where you are immediately before you came in told the court in his testimony that you are an official and you have confirmed as much of the Nubian rights part.
yes.
All right, please tell court, or please tell the court what office do you hold, an office, there are positions that you hold within the Nubian rights part.
I am an official of Nubian Rights Forum.
Just an office bearer without any particular portfolio.
In fact, I'm working particularly on the issues of citizenship rights to Nubians.
Okay. Please speak into the microphone to speak so that the court can hear you the answers, the important answers to the questions that I asked. Okay. Now, I hope you have a copy of your affidavit in front of you.
Yes, I do.
And you, as you have stated, when asked by your advocate, you remember swearing this.
Yes, I do.
Do you know the reason why this case is in court?
Yes, I do.
And what is that reason according to you?
This issue is particularly challenging the issue of registering Huduma number, in particular to the registrations or issuance of IDs to the Nubian community.
It is about IDs and Huduma number.
And passports and all that.
Now, did you acquire, did you register for a Huduma number when that process was through?
No,
You didn't.
no, I didn't. But
It's okay. That's it.
Okay. Fatuma, you just answer the questions you are asked. Your lawyer, Mr. Bashir, will have an opportunity to ask you questions if there is need for further explanation. So if the lawyer who is asking you questions now does not require any further explanation, just to speak to yourself to the questions you asked.
All right. Now, in part A of your affidavit that commences on paragraph 4, I hope you have it before you. Part A, paragraph 4. Okay, commencing in paragraph 4, all the way to paragraph 13, you set out a very informative history of the experience of Nubian people in terms of acquiring a national identity card. But the question I want to ask you is contained in paragraph 10. And what is it in paragraph 10? I just would like you to read the first sentence in paragraph 10.
we are still required to appear in front of a scrutiny of a security vetting committee to prove our nationality.
You are required to appear before a security vetting committee to prove or to establish your nationality. And when you say we, you mean members of the Nubian community.
Yes.
Now, you then later on in your affidavit, at paragraph 27, then state something else. I just want you to read the contents of paragraph 27 of your affidavit report.
Nubians in Kibra are only able to apply for identity cards on a Tuesday or Thursday, as those are the days that our vetting elders sit. A Nubian applicant must first provide their documentation to the vetting elders, who are Nubians, for review and for signing of an affidavit form that confirms the elders know the applicant and know the applicant is a member of the Nubian community.
Thank you very much for that. I'm reading it clearly, precisely. I just want you to confirm that the first stage in this, according to your testimony, is by elders of your community.
Yes.
And at that stage, it is the elders of your community. Before you go on to any subsequent stage, that is where you first start.
Yes.
Other than national identity card, do Nubians experience any challenges in registering for other national identity cards, other than other documents, sorry, other than IDs, passports?
Yes.
Now, are you familiar with the array of the extent of documents with which one can register for a Huduma number? Do you understand which document you can use to register for a Huduma?
Yes.
What are they?
That's their passport, a birth certificate, and an ID.
Okay. A birth certificate, an ID, and passport. So it is not just an ID that you use to register for Huduma. Okay. Now, do you know, and I ask this question cautiously, because it is your testimony that you did not register for a Huduma number. Do you know whether the Huduma number registration took place merely for a season, or is it something that will continue to happen as we continue our journey to the us?
Actually, the court gave orders that it should be a continuous process.
So it is your testimony that you know that the Huduma number will be a continuous registration.
Yes.
Down the road, there will be opportunities for those who have not registered like yourself to choose to register.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Nothing else.
Next question.
Huduma. You were asked about the history of Nubians in acquiring identification card. What has been that history?
Actually, the history is not new, and when coming to court today is not new. We did way back, once came to the Kenyan courts, but actually nothing was done until we went to the African courts on the issues of discrimination on acquiring the documents, i.e. the ID and even the passport. And this process has been there for a very long time, and to an extent that nothing has been done towards these processes because of the discrimination aspect that come in, and also discretion that is left open to the officials that give the documents to us down at the district level.
You talk about an African case?
Yes.
Next page.
The African courts. there was a case and a decision was made. And specifically, the case was about the Nubian child. It simply means that when a Nubian child turns 18, that is where the nightmare begins. Because when it comes to registration, actually living in Kibra, so many communities live there. But when it comes to a Nubian child, when doing the first application, that is where the separation comes in. For a Nubian child, way back, you are asked of your ethnicity. When you say you're Nubian, there's a form that was made there. Sex form, which you are given to the applicants who are Nubians. That separates you from the rest. And from there, you're subjected to several ratings, in fact. The first one is done by the WAZES, and then the second one is done by government officials. And after that, the process can take the longest time in between that time until the time of issuance, whereby the issuance is not a guarantee. So in between, there's no communication of what is going on. You will be following up while not given any information until it reaches a time that maybe if you you're given, you might be given a rejection and all that. So the case was basically on those issues, and then there was a ruling that was given at the African Court, which is actually African Commission on Human and People's Rights, and one with the African Commission of Experts on Rights and Welfare of the Child. Those are the two cases. And there are several one, which is the African Commission on Experts. The committee found the government of Kenya in violation of African Children's Charter. In particular, the committee found Kenya had violated the rights of Kenyan children by denying them access to nationality at the time of birth and subjecting them upon reaching majority to a complicated, racially discriminating vetting process that overshadows their childhood in the form of social and human and people's rights in the case of the Nubian community in Kenya versus the Republic of Kenya, stated that by failing to put in place fair processes, devoid of discrimination and arbitrariness of the acquisition of validation documents, the Commission considers that Kenya has failed to recognize the legal status of Nubians in violation of Article 5 of the Charter.
Thank you. How do you know about this case?
I have participated in the mentioning one image, and I, as a Nubian, was actually following up on the case.
You went to Lesotho?
Yes, I went to
Lesotho. Maybe something is in the right.
Yes, Mr. Bashir. We agree. Was that a matter that
It was linguistic problem.
So can we have amendment to the linguistic law?
You talked about vetting, and Council really asked you about the security vetting committee. And you said this happens on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And you talked about, and Council was very clear, asking you about elders being the husbands to do it.
Yes.
Can you just explain who are the various people involved in this vetting?
Actually, in the first vetting, which the our CDT, it's not more of a vetting. They just swear an affidavit on my behalf that they know me. And then you come to the second one, where certain officials sitting, that is the OCS, CID, officials from the IDs, officials from the registration of birth certificates and all that, and the chief. That is when you're brought in and ask questions concerning issues. Majorly, on a particular one. I'll give an example of a particular who was my daughter, who was being vetted and was given the opportunity to go in and see. And the kind of questions that were asked there are actually in line with issues of security, not actually issues of ID.
Okay. What kind of questions were?
Again, that was not the part that I took with the witness. Again, it may be something that Mr. Bashir wants his witness to take. Maybe a convenient time to take.
The last objection, Mr. Yamondi, no. Let us proceed with the information and finish the witness. But the first of the part of the objection, Mr. Bashir, can you speak?
I'm very clear. He asked about the security and vetting committee, and I want the witness and the court to understand that process very well.
Mr. Nyamodi referred the witness to two paragraphs of affidavit. The first was paragraph 10 about the first by the elders. Then he referred her to paragraph 27 of affidavit. And if I read the response by the witness so that we can write he responded that the first stage of vetting is by elders of the Nubian community. Newcomers also experience difficulties in getting other documents such as passports and birth certificates. To register for an Huduma number, one requires an ID, passport, or birth certificate, not only an ID. The court gave orders that Huduma registration should be continuous, and I will have an opportunity to register in this case if I want. That was the scope of the question. So can you?
Just to take you on the issue of the documents with regard to this case in the Huduma number, in this case about the Huduma number. And council asked you about the documents you need to register for Huduma. Why is that a concern for you?
Actually, the issue is not about Huduma number in particular or issue as the Nubian community. What is actually what we're actually saying is that if we find difficulty in obtaining the documents, i.e. the ID or the passport itself, how am I supposed to register for Huduma if I don't have my passport or my ID? And the time in between that it takes to acquire the ID or the Huduma number or the passports. How will I, what much time will it take? The government says that it will be continuous. How much time will it take? The issue is here is not about Huduma number. The issue is here. Why can't we solve the issue of issuing an ID to a Nubian so that Nubians can also move along with the rest of the Kenyans? Why do we bring in Huduma number? But when we say it will solve other issues, why don't we solve one issue at a time? As a Nubian, if I can't get my ID in a proper or easy way or spending much more time acquiring my ID, how am I sure that after that the Huduma number will flow on as they are saying? So what I'm specifically saying, why can't the government solve the issue of ID to the Nubians? Because what we actually want is equity, or maybe equal, so that we move together with others. Why can't we be equal in the rest? Why can't we solve one at a time for the Nubians to move together with the rest of the other Kenyans? Because actually the issue of vetting is affecting Nubians in particular.
No further questions.
Fatuma, I was mistaken about your volume. Okay, thank you for coming. We are through. So you can now If the witness spoke, you can sit down. Is that the close of the petitioner's case?
Save for the cross-examination of the respondents in respect of the
So, Mr. Ageru, you are witnesses that are available for the examination this afternoon. The two expert witnesses who are available.
Yes, indeed. We have Mr. Omwenga in court. Mr. Chemi is around. And we believe we should be
maybe
Yes.
my lord is a good time for the respondents to also confirm the other two witnesses to be available for prosecution. But tomorrow we will be ready for the others. We do not intend to go too much by the such.
The court was to give a ruling on that, so we'll probably give the ruling before we start with that session. The indicator will give a ruling on the application they made to avail the witnesses, to avail with some of their expert witnesses.
Are we allowed to add submissions why they shouldn't be allowed, especially in view of the court's directive with Waikwa yesterday, that in view of the directive they could not be witness in chief without vitality of reasoning. In view of the directive, they ought not to ask for a judgment.
I think the issue is slightly different. The issue here is availability of the witness, not the directions we gave us to the examination of the witness.
Very well, the court that availability of a witness must have more than 2 months notice if the date free.
Are we rehashing the same arguments that were had by the court of Mr.
I've asked for what I have, and I'm asking to the court, not to the witness.
I think we dealt with that, so the parties will wait for So, Mr. Regeru, at 2:30, you indicated you'll also make your opening statement. You make it short.
Yes, yes.
So the court will adjourn until 2:30. When you give a ruling and as well as start with the respondent cases. Is
Charge.
They prevent someone in this situation.
Imekuwa vizuri. Ya, jana. Jana, kwa kisa tu. Acha charge hapo. Because somebody had somebody alikuwa amelogina.
We can apply the charge and charge these devices. Aye.